resources in the platform the teachers can give as homework or kind of what have you. It would have normally cost just for the second grade about $4,500. So like I said, it's pretty expensive if we were to expand it. Part of the reason we focused on the second grade was because of the iRead test that happens in the third grade. And to also be able to leverage our literacy coach that we have this year, Wendy Thompson, to kind of try and work hand in hand with her to see if we can develop a good platform to help those kids kind of not quite last minute, but pretty close to that, to see if we can't help them before they have to go take that test that can potentially put them on the track that they're going to be in. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any questions or anything?
So this is a cloud-based system, you sign in and use it, it's nothing we have to put on our platform then? Or?
Nope, it works with Clever, which is the thing we use with a lot of our apps. It's kind of a good single sign-on, so even the younger kids, a lot of them have little QR codes. They'll show their camera and that's how they log in. So it works really well with the kids who can't type super well because they got little tiny fingers. So it's a platform everyone in the entire corporation is familiar with. So that'll tie in really easily, and it makes onboarding for us a lot faster as well. So,
Cool.
Well, I'm excited to hear how it progresses and works.
Yeah.
Obviously, AI is something that everybody's
yeah,
wanting or not wanting to dabble in, so we'll see how it goes.
yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work on that grant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Long, he has some safety updates for us.
Good evening. So last spring, we kind of gave a safety update, and we talked about how I was starting in to implement the safety plan that needed updated for the middle school and the high school building. With this summer and this early fall, I've worked with Mr. Hawk and Mr. Sims to get all of the buildings on the same page so that each plan, which you guys had in there, look the same. We're talking the same language, so if something does drastic happen, all four buildings are talking the same. So this is kind of where we got from that last update. In that, I'm not going to go through everything. Obviously, there's a lot in there. The state also put in some new stipulations this year, so we added to that as well. But here's just a quick overview. We wanted a district-wide consistency and safety communication. We use the standard response protocol. So anytime that we have any type of drill or anything, these are the things you would hear: hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and shelter. Those signs are hanging throughout all the buildings. This year, every building does have a building level safety committee. And then safety meeting with all the district staff on the first day of school. We did that this year when this circle was set up, where we had stations for all staff, from custodians all the way up to teachers to instructional aides. They all had a chance to come in, and we went through safety with them as well. New from the state, which we were doing a lot of these already, they just weren't formally in a plan. I'm just going to highlight a couple of the big ones. Weapon on campus protocol. Site vulnerability assessment. This is something new that I'll take on in the spring, which is a checklist pretty much of the SR and I will go through for each building to see where we're lacking, where we're vulnerable. The suicide prevention and response policy and procedures need to be in our plan. We are very lucky that our student services has already had that whipped into shape, so that one was an easy copy and paste that went right in there. And then there was a lot of things that we cover through the Neola policies that I'm sure everybody loves hearing every month. But a couple of them that were highlighted were the child sexual abuse policy, child abuse and neglect policy. And then we do also now, we've included in the back of that individual safety plans for students. Students that are as some sort of, I hate to use the word threat, but if something comes to school where we feel that either they're in danger for themselves or for other students or our staff, we do have that form that's now can be uniform from K through 12, so that it can transfer easily from building to building. So that's also in there too. So open up to any questions you guys might have with all the building safety plans.
That was a big undertaking.
Yes.
More than I thought. Yes,
Well, we appreciate you doing it. It sounds like you've got a pretty good grip on it. so.
thank you.
First and last time to do it.
Thank you.
Next time should be easier. Which one? Yeah,
Which
you
one?
update it.
Our fixed asset came back once again, yearly, annually, we have to do that. So, you received it, we did not print it, it was like probably 600 pages of information. So, the highlights, to me, the big thing is talking about our historical cost. So our historical cost is 5.7 million approximately. Accumulated depreciation is 3.8 million. And our net book value is 1.9-ish, 1.88. So as you can read through it, very exciting over October break. But there's a lot of information in there. Our ADM ended up being 1,361 was our current ADM, so it was a little bit above where we were going, so I'm happy we kind of rebounded, but we started at 1387, 1366, and now 1361, so that's where we're at the past 3 years. We are doing our education fund transfer to rainy day, the lit shares, the certified shares. We're going to be transferring $58,500. And we're going to do our, our current balance in rainy day, by the way, is $918,000. I did miss a zero on that, so $490.70. Education fund to operation, $250,000. So we're going to be doing that for what we talked about at the beginning of the year. Questions on anything on superintendent's items? Anything for the board reports for the administrators? Any questions?
On the fixed asset report, that's just a number that's thrown out there. It doesn't impact us financially or insurance.
And the big piece of that is finding all our equipment and figuring out an estimated cost, and then of course the depreciation of that. So it's a huge report.
I have a question. Is Kevin here?
Yeah.
I have a question on your recommendation form to hire for somebody to replace Ian Mose.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Adam Morris, and then Tuesday's $220 a day, but the others are $350 an hour. What's the special about the Tuesday?
Tuesday, he's actually the teacher in class.
Oh, okay.
He's actually the licensed teacher on Tuesday.
And then on,
She couldn't do it on Tuesday.
oh, okay, Jody.
So, yeah, so we had a vacated day there, and Adam is coming in as a licensed teacher, but will only be licensed on Tuesday. The other days, he's actually an instructional aide.
Hey, Mike,
Makes sense?
we need to get a motion on that,
Yeah,
and then we can talk
Oh,
about it
okay.
more.
sorry.
I was trying to cut down
This
where you
question-
was taking
sorry.
stuff from. Okay, well, we may have more questions, Mr. Sims. Any questions on their reports? Okay. We're almost there, Mike, right here. Number 6. We're gonna move forward with routine matters, and I'd like to get a motion. We're gonna go through several of these at once here. I'd like to get a motion for 6A, which is the consent items, monthly and payroll claims in the amount of $1,838,412.54. The approval of the monthly financial reports as submitted by the treasurer. Also 6B, the employment of certified staff. 6C, the employment of classified staff. 6D, the employment of the ECA staff minus number 11. Number 11 is no longer on our list. We need to pull number 11. And then 6E, resignations, terminations, retirements. And 6F, fundraisers, facility usage requests, and overnight and out-of-state field trips.
I move we approve routine matters, A, B, C, D, less item 11, E, and F.
Second.
Okay. Mike, if you have further question, you can
Didn't mean to jump the gun on that.
discuss it this point.
I just,
I still got the same answer.
I couldn't understand why one day he got this page on, the next day he didn't have
I
this.
understand, yeah, it's confusing. You ought to be the principal and see how.
Well, we tried to get, someone to take their place that used to be a
I'm
retired
retired.
math.
Yeah.
I did have a question on D. We're hiring an 8th grade boys and girls basketball coach. Same person,
Yes,
both sports,
yes.
same time?
No. Boys season and girls season in middle school, they kind of dovetail. So boys finish at the start of January and girls start at the start of January. The coaches all feel that this will work well. It's something that the coach is, how long has he been coaching? A long time. He brings a lot of experience to the table that they think will make this a good transition as far as being able to build 8th grade numbers.
Interesting. Thank you.
I see here another question. It says, after a long career here, Ross is going to finally retire.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ross. But
Uh-huh.
he does a lot of administrative duties in his job. When we go to replace him, are we going to look for someone with an administrative license? Is that something we thought about yet?
We really hadn't thought about that yet. We'll get there after we got past getting Ross. Plus, we're taking off a lot of those hats off of Ross.
The administrative tasks?
Any other questions on 6A through F? Okay. All in favor of items routine matters 6A through F minus D11? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna skip over old business. We don't have any old business, so, at least we'd like to think we don't. So, moving forward, the exciting Neola policies. I'd like to get a motion to discuss these number 8 new business Neola policies, 1 through 20.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Circle is going to explain these, but we're going to try a new approach. Most of these have verb, commas, language. We're not going to discuss all of that. She's going to go through that. I told her to kind of keep people awake tonight. So we're going to try something new. These are always posted after we get done with them, so if there's ever any questions, we can answer this.
Yes. You sick of hearing me?
No, I just know how long you can talk.
Okay.
What was that, 3.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. And by the way, this system, they will be in the Neola policy within a month, I've discovered, once I submit them. Okay, there's several technical corrections. A lot of them are literally language change. So the number for the board member was, we have 7 numbers. That was all that was there. The election and eligibility to serve, they were correcting it because it had board. Now you have to have the word school board. So everywhere they added school board in there. The revised bylaw for term, they wanted us to write out 4 along with the number 4. The oath, they actually put the oath in here that you were supposed to read. That was the change there. Okay, the vacancies and appointment of the board. They put in the Indiana codes, and the big change in this one was they asked where the interested parties are, where they submit their notice of intent. So I put down to submit to the superintendent. This is your favorite one, the compensation. Sorry, I kept it at $2,000. And then all the wills got changed to shall, and again, board became school board. Okay. This is one that's kind of exciting. Board ethics, right here. They did add an entire section, very similar to the other ones we talked about, the staff and student relations. There's a whole section on that with you, and it talks about being safe and healthy. So in other words, make sure your appropriate boundaries with students. You're not giving out confidential information about students. That's what they added. Officers, they literally added a cross-reference to another policy. That's all they added. Members participating in meetings through electronic means of communication, they added shall instead of must. And then they added a reference to the Indiana Code. The public participation at board meetings, they added, once again, it was the same thing, 14 days item on an agenda. They wanted to know how to get something on the agenda. We've actually already changed this, so I just put it back in, that any group wishing to be placed on the agenda, just please notify the superintendent no later than 14 days before. The staff and student relations, which we've now voted on 4 times, they switched the must to shall. Everything else is the same. And the staff and student relations, you have the administrator one, you have the professional staff one, so those are 2 right there. This is a brand new policy. It is the Nursing Mothers Act, the PUMP Act. And basically what it says is, as required by federal law, the school board shall take steps necessary to support staff members who decide to breastfeed their infants by providing additional unpaid break times as necessary for lactating employees to express breast milk for their infants on school corporation premise. And there is a policy for administrators, there's a policy for professional staff, there's a policy for the classified staff, so there's 10 of those. The tobacco use, they added vapes and hookah pens. I don't even know what that is, I'm embarrassed to say. So they added tobacco policy. So they added to these policies vapes for this. So that's been included in the other hookah pen. So this one is administrators. This is for professional staffs, are also not allowed to use vapes. Support staff, not allowed to use vapes. This is patrons and anyone working, so like people that come in to do our contract work. And all of the visitors cannot use them on school property. So when someone's using a vape in the parking lot during the football game, that's not allowed. We're almost there, guys. That's my 3 minutes going.
Goes a little fast.
Okay. Audio, video, and digital recording of meetings. This one was completely must shall. The audio, video, and digital recording of meetings for IEPs and case conferences, same thing, must to shall. And corporation, they added school. Dyslexia screening and intervention, literally must to shall. And adoption of curricular materials, this is the same one we've corrected multiple times. They added the no fees because we no longer charge fees. Unless something's lost or broken, you can still charge for that. And employment contracts with professional employees, guess what? Will to shall, must report to reports. Outside activity for staff, they added again, they switched their should to shall, will to shall. That is it. And threatening and intimidating behavior towards staff members. This one they did add quite a bit, and it is basically state law will require that any individual who has reason to believe that a school employee has received a threat, is a victim of intimidation, is a victim of battery, or a victim of harassment by an individual immediately must notify the principal, and the principal shall immediately make an oral report to local law enforcement agency. That is all new. The employment of support staff, they had us actually list out who our support staff is. So I put in their instructional aides, substitutes. They just added actual names, and they switched must to shall. And they also added the component we already had in there, that you have to either have an associate's, a bachelor, or you must pass the parapro. So we already had that in there, but, and that would be all, however many I have. Questions on any of these?
Questions?
Third one, fourth line down, so,
Must you or shall
shall, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, we're just trying to get these updated like we should through the way the state wants us to, so that's what we're doing here. I guess I'm, with no further questions, asking for a vote here. All in favor of new business number 8A, Neola policy updates 1 through 20, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8B, we have cafeteria pay raises. I'd like to get a motion to discuss.
Mr. President, I'm happy to make the motion and move that we recommend pay increases for our cafeteria.
Second.
Okay. Mrs. Circle.
Amanda's actually on there. I don't know if she can speak.
She can't.
She can't speak? Okay. No? Any questions that I may or may not be able to answer?
So this is all as discussed previously.
Yeah, and she came and talked about it earlier, and I sent you all her information.
I think for the public record, it needs to be noted that this fund is totally separate from our other funds, that actually this is the profit made through the cafeteria. So,
I think she can speak.
Do we have a speaker?
Amanda?
Amanda?
Yes, I'm sorry, it took me a minute. Can you hear me?
Yep. Anything you
Okay,
like?
I could barely hear what was going on. I don't know why it's so quiet, but, what was your questions for me?
No, I was just saying that this is, the cafeteria fund is totally separate from all our other funds in our school, and because of the money that we acquired through that is why we're able to give these raises and do the other things we've done so far through the cafeteria, through our school corporation, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Did anybody else have any further questions for that? Okay. All right, all in favor of 8B, the cafeteria pay raises, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to get a motion to, for 8C, to discuss the DCMS climate survey.
So moved.
Okay. Mrs. Circle.
Yes. So we have two of our wonderful student counselors here. Did you want to speak, Ms. Gaynor or Ms. Riddle?
Sure.
Yes, come on up to the podium. We'd love to hear from you. And she gave us a little handout, I just passed it around to everyone.
I'll start. Okay, go for it. So, Ms. Red Elk and I put our heads together at the beginning of the year and wanted to create a survey for our staff and students to get their perceptions of life here at the middle school, specifically about How do they feel safe when they are here? Do they feel like they belong? Do they feel like people in the building care about them? We wanted those perceptions, number one, because some of us might have one perception, and then when we get the results of the survey, it might be something different, or it could be the same. And if our students don't feel safe, or if they don't feel like they belong, then that will impact their academics as well. So Neil did a lot of the, of the legwork. Again, we found some surveys that had questions that we thought would be very relevant, and the student questions will mirror the staff questions, so we can compare those results in the end. We do have a timeline that we've kind of laid out as well, that is on this paper. We are also going to offer to parents what we call an opt-out form. So if the parent does not want their child to participate in the survey, we can have the opt-out form, so the student will be doing something different during that time, while other students will be doing the survey. It will be done during their homeroom time, so they will not lose any academic time to take the survey.
And the survey is anonymous, and the staff also have the option to opt out of taking the survey, and their survey is also anonymous, so.
Any questions?
Yeah, is the survey, can this be compared to any other surveys, middle school wise, or you're just seeking specific feedback for this population?
Specific feedback, and then the 3 domains that are listed on this paper. And it's kind of a starting point. I'm not aware of any other surveys that we have done in the past that we could compare this to. But what we're hoping to do is also give maybe a post-survey at the end of the year to see if we've made any changes and had any positive impact.
And will we get a copy of your survey results, or is that confidential?
We talked about that. And I think what we're leaning towards right now is once we have time to go through the survey results with their administration, we would kind of maybe do a short summary to give some feedback and share that with administration, and then administration can share that with the board and superintendent.
So is there any potential pushing it more out the rest of the corporation? I mean, you're looking at the middle school, right, which is a small section. Unique in their education, right? And so it'd be interesting, I think, especially if it's where data starts, and we're basically drawing the line to start gathering that data, I assume, year to year to year. It'd be interesting once you get this done, that if it's something that we can push to the rest of the potential.
And that's actually where this started, was the idea that we could do a survey like this corporation-wide, and even maybe down the road get families involved as well, parents and guardians, and get feedback, because obviously their input is very, very valuable. But after discussing, and it being my first year, and kind of working with Monica with this, we thought, let's start on a smaller scale, see how it goes. Once it's done, what could we have done differently, improve, that kind of thing. And then yes, the goal is to make it wider. So
It has some long-term results.
Yeah,
long-term.
absolutely.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I might add, they're following Neola policies on this. Because there was a whole new Neola policy about getting parent permission and everything, so they've done an excellent job.
Okay. With all of that, all in favor of the DCMS climate survey, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Number 8D, I'd like to get a motion in a second for the middle school repairs by Henshaw Roofing, quotes out of the 2023 bond as presented.
I move we approve the middle school repairs by Henshaw Roofing quotes as presented.
Second.
I believe Mrs. Circle has information on this.
Actually, Mr. Valenta does.
Mr. Valenta is here.
Yes. He's excited to talk to us about this.
You should have some paperwork in your packet as well.
Hello. So one of the quotes is for a roof that's already been repaired over the high school, over the science wing. It looks like some material has gotten up there and cut 3 V's into the rubber part of the roof. So that's gonna need to be patched. And then there was one for the middle school over the, I believe the entrance doors. Water was just pouring in through there, so we gotta get that repaired. And then the $24,000 one is for this areas like this, right here, and there's one in the cafeteria. And they have gutters around them, and the only way to make that better is to build it up to where they don't exist anymore and put flashing over them, so it just runs off to the roof. That's all I have.
Good.
Questions?
You gonna ask for me?
Go ahead.
So on the roof where we've got our issues, the V or it's been cut or whatever, that hasn't been done that long ago, right? If that's the section I'm thinking that just got done.
So it would have been just
3 years or
ago?
3, maybe 4. Is there any guarantee that that doesn't happen? I mean, from the previous, or whoever the roof, did our roof at that time?
Well, that was Henshaw's as well.
Was
You probably
it?
don't know the answer to that question, but
No.
it just seems odd that we'd have that issue already.
Yeah.
Did it look like it'd been cut?
It looks like they're cut, like, I mean, there's 3 perfect V's kind of staggered apart, and like something had to impact it.
Just seems weird that quick.
Yeah.
Something, especially if it's 3 symmetrically the same. Is that something that happened to be done during installation that just now happened to show up because of an overcoat or something like that, or
Like we place something on
or a
it.
fault
Yeah.
in the material itself, you know how. So, yeah.
I could also see it as being some piece of sheet metal from something skipping across the roof from who knows what as well.
Any other questions or discussions? Obviously, there's 3 items there, the DCMS gutters, which is as he discussed, that's around the cafeteria and the LMC. We just discussed about the repair on that roof leak. And of course, the DCMS walls as well. Thank you. Okay, all in favor of the middle school repairs by Henshaw Roofing? We have 3 items there. One of them is $24,950 for number 1. Number 2 is $1,250, and number 3 is $1,610. All in favor of those, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Number